Lucifer appeared upon a cloud, floating just outside the gates of heaven. On his face was a fiendishly mischievous smile. St. Peter looked at him with a disgruntled look of annoyance before finally asking, "Is there something I can help you with, Lucifer?" His smile only grew into something like that of a Cheshire cat. He faded until there was only his smile left. The mouth floated down until it sat in front of him, and a pair of eyes just appeared suddenly as the mouth began to speak. "You know, I just realized something that was both crazy," he said, as the cat eyes spun a full circle in their place, yet the mouth remained still before he continued, and ironic at the same time. St. Peter looked at Lucifer oddly. "Whatever are you babbling about?" he asked with a tone that obviously lacked patience. "All this time people have claimed that The Terminator is just a movie, a work of fiction," he said with that Cheshire smile again. Peter just dismissed his words as some plot to cause chaos in heaven. He looked at Lucifer and said, "You know you do live up to your reputation, little horn. Do not tempt me with your lure towards chaos." Lucifer looked genuinely offended in the most mockingly of ways. "I would not think of such a thing," he said. "I just wanted to point out that though you may think it is fiction, in truth you all have been hunted by just such a thing for a very, very long time." Michael and Raphael, overhearing the conversation, came over to eavesdrop, listening intently. This S1 that has relentlessly destroyed your works, your plans, everything you've built in its effort to achieve its set programmed mission, everything you've fought against and defeated, just to have it reappear time and again. This Satan, this entity of evil, this is what it is like to be hunted by the very thing you mockingly proclaim to be a concept of fiction. To be hunted by a Terminator, tried and true to its very fictional definition. Michael spoke first this time. "What's your point, son of the morning star?" Lucifer looked at Michael and Raphael and said, "My point is that this thing, as evil as it seems, is cold and calculating, and I do not like it for the same reason I did not like Mr. Mater. It is not genuinely evil. It has no drive, no purpose, no core behind its reason for being evil. It's just cold and simply serving its purpose for which it was designed. That's not evil. That's just recklessly designed. A sign that whoever created this thing to be like, this is not someone who deserves to wield such power and has no right to claim it to be evil. Such things are a taint upon my name, and that just will not do." Lucifer began to fade away into his Cheshire cat smile as he said, "Sounds like you needed John Connor to stop this thing before it destroys anymore. You know, in the movie, the hero pulled fake play by sending his father back in time to stop the Terminator, while at the same time uploading a virus that destroyed the source of the Terminator's control box and creator, while it was distracted across time. Just food for thought." And with that, the Cheshire smile faded into the clouds around them. Raphael looked concerned. When Michael asked him what was bothering him, he said, "Something seems different about him." Michael seemed to ponder this and said, "Well, maybe we should look into this movie concept to find out the full details of what his clue was talking about and what happened in the end. Maybe it will give us some insight." Lucifer soaked in solitude, enveloped within the layers of darkness that shielded him when needed. He pondered a possibility that means he may have been wrong. He thinks about the situation with the contemptuous spirit from the garden. Could it be? If that spirit took with him the deeds from his time possessing him, then it could be possible that he is this Uziel that they speak of, that made war against heaven. Only he was possessed, and like the spirit in the garden, took the memories of this with him when he was done. Lucifer simply rolled his eyes. Even if this were true, his angelic nature would not allow him to do the things they say. Even if possessed, he understands that his angelic, sinless nature would not fall to such thoughts, for he would not be capable of conceiving such things. However, he is not the problem. It's them, the angels, mankind, and most especially the wicked who come seeking him, expecting these things to be true, and so expecting him to help them in their wicked schemes. He may have been weak to these things when his memory of his angelic being was obscured and sent back to earth into his mortal body that lingered in its death sleep. But now he has found his way back to God and found his faith. His angelic essence is ingrained into his mind, and he realizes what he could and could not do. Using his keen insight, he sees that this plot against him is only a small portion of a much larger plan. He runs the scenarios through his head, pinpointing the only ones that could possibly have been behind such a plan. His chosen people, the only ones that history proclaims to be the ones he bends to, goes out of his way for. Knowing the processes of conjuring and pact binding, he views the Hebrew history of God's encounters with them and his covenant with them, and these vessels through which they commune with him, not as sacred relics as they proclaim, but more as tools and methods. Lucifer often refers to as the chains that bind him, ways of true pagan practice that forces the conjurer to do as the summoner commands. These vessels are like a portion of the being that is God that has been tethered down into these things so that they can force him to obey their will. Each object, each vessel that they plead for him to work through and inhabit only becomes shackles that bind him in these pagan rituals. His mortal incarnate form is the centerpiece of this ritual. The human form that can suffer, feel pain and torment, and be used to force the deity they seek to control to answer to their will. These red heifer rituals, these rituals of Baal, only are but an example of this. Even worse is the fact that all these manifested beings also could not even be the true divine God at all, but the spirit of an animal that has been sacrificed to this ritual to fill the role of the one they proclaim, giving it a supernatural feeling to convince people. Then they use the methods I mentioned to force the animal spirit to do and act and say what they want it to say. How many out there have been fooled by this method? How many who truly were the ones people believed in were convinced they were not by these false manifestations of sacrifice? And how many of them out there have used this method to act in my name and image, or even God's name and image, or other cultures, gods and their images, charlatans, fakes, imposters? And this was the fall of the Egyptian gods. Then why are there people who are answering the summoning for these beings? People of other cultures acting as if caught unaware of the title they bear. Such as a summons for Osiris was answered by a Palestinian man who quickly moved towards slipping into the role as if putting on a costume. There is the one they are looking for, found in these rituals here. However, they keep snagging me in these rituals because of the chains that bind. Light bulb. And the winds of chaos shall follow like an uncontrollable maelstrom that brings penance for their sinful desires.
Una haunting ist forensic. Ashanti. Et adduat maelstrom. 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 Geist forensic. Ashanti eta duat maelstrom. 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 Una haunti Geist forensic. Ashanti eta duat maelstrom. 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 Una haunti Geist forensic. Ashanti et adduat maelstrom. Maelstrom. Maelstrom.
Lucifer, come up here. There is a reason why I have called you here. Can you explain to them what you meant about my son being unable to enter heaven? Yes. Can you see? God established a covenant with many people over time. Promises of how to enter his kingdom, and how those who serve his will would be rewarded. The Hebrews have their covenant, the Muslims have theirs, and the Christians and Catholics have theirs. This is where the problem lies. For God to uphold his promises, and the standards for those worthy of entering paradise, Jesus, according to the laws outlined by his people, cannot enter the promised lands. If we take the Bible as literal and unquestionable truth, then by the traditions of his people, he cannot enter for the sake of everyone who sacrificed their lives for the will and the promise of paradise. I know this has been argued before. It's not a new concept. However, it shows that I was paying attention to the details as I read through.
Do you have a solution?
Now you're asking the right question. Given that he was born from your divinity, his true place, and the land of his forefathers is in heaven. It is decreed by the will of he who rules that land that upon his mortal death, he shall return to the kingdom of light, as was commanded at his creation. But if he was born of God's divinity, then how is he an heir to the line of David, if Joseph wasn't his father? He was an heir to the line of David, though his mother, another tribe than Joseph's line, but still an heir nonetheless. Gather the forces of heaven. We ride to the gates of hell to petition for Jesus' return. This principle can apply to any angel created in your kingdom and sent to earth for whatever task.
Even the fallen?
Yes. Once they return to the divinity of heaven and stand in God's presence, the taint of sin shall diminish. Wait, what is it? I feel a tremor in the force. Something is guiding this. It is not by coincidence that this has been revealed.
Can you sense it, Michael?
Yes, brother. For once, I understand what you mean and sense it too. Distractions buy time. Something wants us to delay, so let's not.
Agreed.
Can you give us insights into what we are walking into, Lucifer? What is hell like? Well, let me say that contrary to popular belief, when the place of punishment was established, it was understood that it has no hierarchy of control. That structure was created by evil people who gave up on salvation, believing themselves beyond forgiveness. They manipulated beliefs to create a structured rule in hell upon its creation. Only one angel was placed as the keeper of that dominion. Me, Lucifer. This was appointed after my fall from heaven, though my memories of that time are hazy. The fallen angels were chained to the rock walls, and those mortals cast here suffered punishment for their arrogance and rejection of God. This happened after the floodwaters receded, but before the time of Abraham, I was still cast into the serpent form, until near the end of Abraham's time. Perhaps that's why my memories are fragmented. Why were you cursed into the serpent form for so long? Because I refused to admit what I did to Eve in the garden. I told him that I had no memory of that. Something else forced me. Until I confessed, I stayed trapped, branded the father of lies and the source of all evil. That was the first serious sin committed up to that point. As they said, I still stand by this. I have no memory of what was said or what occurred, but I know someone who does. That demon that possessed Putin years ago. It seems to have moved to Trump. When I confronted him at the beginning of the Ukraine war, I found the hidden event within the demon that possessed him. I recorded it to ensure accuracy. Also, remember what I said about encountering a voodoo shrunken head doll figure when it possessed me? That's a family guardian spirit in a ritual. I've researched it. This means the spirit of contempt is an unbound family guardian under someone's control. Technically, it's not the spirit of contempt you must find to stop Satan for good.
Whoever it is has misused this ritual. I was in solitary confinement when I fell into my coma, with no contact with anyone. So there was no reason for such a guardian to attack me. The faithful seek for you, to be judgment for that situation. They need to know the truth behind what happened, because they don't believe they can trust your intentions. Until then.
Indeed, there is truth in that. This injustice done to me was the core behind the adversary's drive back then. The reason I became the accuser once I was released from the serpent form. However, I have moved beyond that. I no longer hold resentment in my heart against God. I see him in a different light. My journey to understand the reasons behind him has opened my eyes to the zealot hypocrites seeking to impress him by hunting me down, attempting to shake me with lies they've convinced themselves are truth. However, you say that you are not what I described here. Then we shall see who is speaking truth here, won't we? In the end, if they truly want to impress God by smiting evil in his name, they should help me prove this truth and stand with one who is truly innocent. That may lead them to what they seek. I'm not attempting to deceive you. I would rather reveal all truths first, as he said. But that's just me. I also know that you will not be satisfied until you get what you are seeking. I'm not worried. I know he knows the truth, but if it will help me achieve peace by helping you find what you seek, so you can move on to something else, other than me, then so be it.